The one
your family can experience at Ontario Place.
What are you doing?
To learn more about the fun assignment.
You giving away some free advertising time, sir? Is that what's happening?
Are we live?
Yeah.
And no one can see us.
But we might be.
Oh wait, hold on. Now we're live.
Exactly. See?
That's actually a great start because it starts right there.
All right. Do you guys know what you're doing?
Yep.
Do we know the order?
Okay. So I think why don't we do this? I want to put Zach in the middle because he's probably gonna mess it up.
No, I got
first, second, third.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay.
Yep. You ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah, sure.
You ready, sir?
Oh yeah, I've got mine ready for 20 minutes.
All right. Let's do this. So on this episode of the Culturesmash cast.
Hollywood taps a comic book writer to bring Gundam to life.
Old man yells at Cloud.
And taking us out to the ball game again.
It's the Culturesmash cast, episode 486 for March 6, 2019. I'm Stephen Lackey, editor of Culturesmash.tv.
Nicholas Qualls, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Zach Martin, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Tina Heimbach, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Why don't we just rip this off like a band-aid? Get started with it right. Tell us what we're...
Oh.
You and I are partaking.
Yes, you and I are partaking. You
Cheers.
have... What do you have?
I have the ginger one. I have the ginger...
Of what?
Steven is drinking.
Sponsored by Social. The sparkling sake drink with a refreshing hibiscus cucumber, delicious toasted coconut, and scrumptious grapefruit ginger. Only 88 calories, organic and gluten-free, GMO-free, preservative-free, and no artificial sweeteners. Find on socialenjoyments.com, #live social, #drink clean. Social, the drink that makes you talk.
You gonna tease me with the slurp at the...
I was about to say that's like a sad
I
slurp.
don't do slurping.
I don't really do the slurp either, to be honest with you.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
All right, there you go.
We'll cut
I
it
like
together.
ending with
So,
the...
that's true too. So you're drinking yours straight out of the can.
Yep.
I'm having mine with a little vodka and some simple syrup and some lemon juice.
that you almost confused with something else.
Exactly. I almost did confuse with something else. All right, so let's get into this. We got some cool stuff to talk about.
Right? Okay, so when someone talks about Halloween candy, you guys just regularly think, oh, pretty much any and all candy. But if somebody says Easter candy, it's jelly beans, hollow bunny-shaped chocolates, Cadbury eggs, and of course those devilish little marshmallows in the shapes of bunnies and chicks and who knows what else.
What else, Tina?
No. Well, this year there's going to be a whole lot more of them and some pretty interesting flavors. Because, nothing says Easter morning like pancake and syrup flavored marshmallow chicks. Not sure how I feel about that one,
I'm a
actually.
little weird about that one. Yeah.
That
doesn't seem too odd, honestly. It's weird, but
Why do I feel like it'll just taste like maple?
yeah, it's going to be maple flavor.
Well, that's not the only new flavor. The sweet offerings will also come in cotton candy and orange sherbet. And you can find those wherever you find the Peeps and the super sweet candies, as well as fruit punch flavored ones.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah. But if you're a Peeps completist, because you're weird, you will have to hit the road to find these limited flavors, because they're not going to be in one, it's not going to be distributed widely. It's going to be certain flavors in certain regions.
So, in other words, some people are going to make a lot of money on eBay from Peeps, because we're not going to get those.
No,
no one's going to make a lot of money on Peeps.
I don't know, the Peeps market, man. Peeps and Pez. Telling you.
I don't want all that.
I used to like Peeps when I was a kid because it was like one of the few candies my mom would let me eat on Easter. But when I got to the point where I could purchase my own candy,
You got better candy, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really care for Peeps, but what I do like that's probably honestly kind of gross too, but I like them still is marshmallow peanuts. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I like those.
Ever.
The circus peanuts.
Yeah. You've never had
those?
those?
No, I haven't had them in forever. It's been
those are good.
Yeah.
And it's nothing but squishy sugar, but I love them.
No, we were talking about that the other day at the office because we tend to have candy at me and my coworker's desk. So we'll rotate the candy out. Like I had those strawberry bonbon, the grandma candies, that
Delicious.
every grandma somehow materializes with like an armful of those strawberry bonbons.
But they're tasty, though.
They are.
Because I would eat them.
Right?
My grandma always gets the orange slices, which I don't like as much.
Yeah.
I don't like those.
He's a big fan of peach rings.
I love peach rings.
Blah.
You're, what?
Mm.
Wrong.
No, not wrong. I don't
I
like
have
gummy bears
seen-
either, or gummy worms, or any of the other gummy shapes.
What about you, Zach?
I do not like marshmallows all that much.
But you can't trust Zach because he also doesn't like chocolate.
I don't like chocolate. I don't like sweet things. I mean, not sweet things, but like I don't
I'm
go.
telling
to,
your girlfriend.
I don't
said
go
that,
to the
by
candy
way.
bar aisle and I go, oh man, better pick me something out. I go, nah.
Wow.
No, I'm one of those who.
This is why we don't
especially-
trust him.
Yeah.
If I go to the candy bar aisle, guess what I get? Gum.
And gum is boring.
It's boring, but it's tactile. To where you get out of the movie and you go, oh man, better pop in some gum.
Yeah, somebody else always offers me gum, and my response is always, I'm gonna have to spit that out at some point.
Okay, I was always raised, if somebody offers you gum, you take it because you're breasting. That's why they offer you gum. It's like, hey, how about some gum?
Well, then I'm gonna start responding.
Hey.
Hey, will you get any mints? Because
Yeah.
See,
I,
that's what I do. I do
Yeah.
mints.
I do mints.
Mints
Mints are
are
good
my go-to.
because they go away when you're done with them.
Yeah.
You don't have to
It's
worry
all.
about them. To the point where I don't want to worry about my candy anymore.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about movies.
All right.
So are we doing the box office
Box
first and then
office.
going
Box office
into the big
first.
discussion here? All right, so here's the box office for this past weekend. Number 10 was Happy Death Day to You. It made $2.4 million. It's made $25 million so far on a $9 million budget. That's like crap money, but it's plenty of profit, I guess.
Yeah.
Number 9 is What Men Want. It made $2.7 million. It made 49, almost 50 actually, on a $20 million budget. Number 8 is Greta. That opened new. It opened with a $4.4 million take. We don't know what the budget is on that one. Actually, I've heard kind of good things about this movie.
You know, weren't we gonna go see this?
We were going to go see it. Yeah, funny story about that. Didn't I tell you guys what happened? Why I didn't go see that?
No, I
No.
don't think so.
Yeah, so I was going to go see it. I had free tickets to a press screening here in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And then the day of the press screening, I was taking garbage out my garage in the back, and my cat bolted under me and took my feet out from under me.
Oh,
and I hit
this
the
is
ground.
when, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I was not feeling it for about
Ollie's
3 days.
assassination of him.
Yeah, was not feeling it. All right, so we missed that one. Number 7 is Isn't It Romantic? That made $4.5 million.
No, it's not.
Probably isn't. It's made $40 million so far, no budget. Number 6 is Green Book. Another $4.5 million there. It's made $75.7 million on a $23 million
Yeah,
budget.
that's the post-Oscar boom. There it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So number 5 is Fighting with My Family. It made $4.6 million. It's made right at $15 million. No budget there. Number 4 is the Lego Movie 2, the second part. $6.6 million on that one. It's made $91.6 so far. No budget there either. Number 3 is Alita, Battle Angel. It made $7.2 million. It's made $72 million so far. $170 million budget. This is a bad time for movies.
I was
There's
about
just
to say, when was
nothing.
the last time it was good? When was the last, like,
Just-
man, it's a solid weekend for
There's just
films?
nothing exciting right
No,
now.
I'm asking you, when was the last time you were like, man, it's a solid weekend? for
2018.
films? Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Mhm.
How, when 2018? Because it wasn't Christmas 2018.
It had to be sometime in November. It had to be.
4 months.
Yeah, had to be. All right, number 2 is Tyler Perry's A Medea Family Funeral. It made $27 million on its opening weekend. No budget release there. And number 1, you should be happy about this, Zach. How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. It made $30 million. It's a solid opening.
That's not an opening.
Or a solid weekend. It's made
Yeah.
$97.6 million so far on a $129 million budget. So it still hasn't reached its.
This is the best in the series in terms of financially.
But according to everything I hear, it's the worst in the series.
Yes.
Nico agrees
Yeah,
with
I
that,
agree.
Yeah.
And I agree with that too.
Because I was going to
Yeah.
say,
Thank you,
because
Tina, for my
It's not to say it's
exactly for validating his opinion.
That's not to say it's bad.
No,
but
it's
if you had
still
to
a
point,
wonderful
If you had to
movie.
point to one, where it's like, what's the weakest one? It's like the third.
Third, yeah.
Immediate.
Because 2 is just such a classic story by now.
Mhm.
Or not 2. 1 is a classic story. 2 is so emotionally driven. Like, it tugs at your heartstrings every 5 minutes. And it's wonderful. It's such a great ride. This one, it was a good ride. It was fantastically done. It didn't really start getting emotional until maybe 30 minutes.
Oh crap!
in.
We need to finish the film.
Yeah,
what
pretty
do we
much.
do? Yeah.
Pretty much. Like the first hour, we could have like skipped through. The villain wasn't really that compelling. Like,
I liked him better than the second one. He had a personality compared to the second one. He had something compared to the second one.
but the second one made sense. The second
alright.
one was pretty much I want to conquer the world with this army of dragons, and he had that backstory with stories.
No, I see.
Whereas the villain on this was like, I killed a Night Fury, and
he killed
people liked
all.
me.
Oh no,
Let
he
me
didn't.
finish.
He missed one.
Okay, he
Yeah.
missed two.
He was like, I killed a Night Fury, and my village liked me, so
See,
I went and killed them all. That was his whole backstory.
But
I
that's
wasn't
how
sure.
he undermines everybody. He's
I
like
wasn't
an active
sure. I
villain.
wasn't sure if the Light Fury is the same species or if it's a different species that's just compatible enough to mate.
That's a good question.
Because otherwise, spoilery stuff later. Well,
Yeah, don't get too
Yeah.
spoilery because I still have
But
it.
anyway, I think I did like the villain for the most part. I didn't like his motivation, but I thought he carried himself in terms of performance was really interesting.
And the three lackeys that were
Listen.
the sub-villains.
That's uncalled for.
All the
Exactly.
lackeys. I've never
That-
met an interesting lackey.
That's
Every lackey is
uncalled
so
for.
boring.
So Oddjob is a bad.
You know, you guys can sit in the third
You know,
row on movie night.
Oddjob is the best lackey I've ever met. I'll tell you.
Y'all are rude. Y'all are rude.
He is the best hat choice too of all the
You
lackeys.
know what? That's okay. I can take it.
The only thing I really
I
wish.
prefer my lackeys with hair.
The only thing I really
Listen,
wish they
Linda.
could have changed in regards to what I would have done is okay, where the film ends, like the age of Toothless is
Yeah.
where I would have started the third film. Like, so you have a boy turning into a teen, turning
It's-
into a man.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
you would have had more.
I'm not saying where he ends up. I'm saying take that age of him
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you.
and
Yeah.
start there,
But-
having him been the leader
Have
for
it,
X amount of
have
years.
it be a time jump as akin to the first movie into the second movie.
Yeah.
The thing is, the first half of the movie's boring compared.
That first 20 minutes is really bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's
Oh,
like,
the new
holy
movie's
crap.
bad. Well, I got the first
Now,
two. I'm gonna
now
watch
I
them.
will say it does keep on par with being visually stunning.
Oh, the
That
commercial
water
is
was
like
great.
The water was
It's
great.
beautiful.
Yeah.
The water, the
The
clouds,
smoke effects.
everything is just and Toothless with the lightning. Oh, I loved it. Loved it.
All right.
So
It's funny because this is actually one film I could tell the limitations of 2K on the big screen. It totally has a 2K master, and I could tell. I know, like no one else is gonna see it, but I could.
This is what is happening lately. Someone's like, "Man, your film was awesome the other day at the film festival," and Zach's like, 10 minutes. And this woman had to be 70 years old. She said, "Your film was great." And Zach was like 10 minutes in on the technical aspects of what
No,
we
I
did.
wasn't.
Yes, you were. It was like,
Everything
oh, we
over it.
shot in 4K, but then we mastered in 4K, and
We shot and mastered.
yeah, and then the we shot in 10-bit, and we made a mistake shooting 10-bit. I was like, this woman they could barely work their GoPro.
like
Their
it reminds-
GoPro kept
it
shutting off
reminds
during
me of that
You
Vine.
said he's Mr. Technical, and I went, well, let's go Mr. Technical.
It reminds me of that Vine where it's like, oh, I think your speech was really good. Oh, thank you. It's like, oh my God, just wanted to take the compliment.
Yeah, thanks for cutting off the rest of that word.
Yep.
Pretty good. I liked it.
All I'm saying is,
All you saying?
I had to keep a reputation.
For being annoying.
Ooh.
For being Mr. Technical.
All right, so if you want to see a movie this weekend, it's not going to get overall any better for you in the theater. Marvel's Captain Marvel is out.
Is it Marvin?
Marvin's Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
We call it
no,
Marvin's
nothing-
Captain Marvel
nothing-
now.
No, I was choking on vodka, sir. So, but isn't everything Marvel Studios presents or something like that now?
Well,
Is that all
no.
their
Marvel's
names are?
the Avengers.
Marvel's
No,
the Avengers,
I think-
Marvel's.
I think Marvel is only in the title for the Avengers, for the
Is
first
it the only
Avengers
one?
movie. I think
Yeah.
so.
Well, so Captain Marvel's out this weekend. It's 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. I hear
83.
a lot of good stuff about it.
I hear very middling.
I'm hearing very good.
I've heard.
I
Similarly,
also-
but for the most part, I hear good.
I've started to realize where Zach hears things. I see it on Facebook, and it's
Oh,
like
Rotten Tomatoes? Let's go to the scores. Let's
no,
see.
no,
3
no.
out of 4,
I'm
2
talking
out of 4,
about
2.5
no,
out of 4,
I'm talking about
2.5
where
out of
you
4.
literally hear things.
Oh.
That private film group where you're in with everybody's got their film elitist hats on. I go in there.
Excuse me, they're called berets?
Yeah.
At least they're not
Do
outdoors.
you want to parade?
Yes,
it is good that they're not fedoras.
To be fair, what's wrong with the fedora? Is that bad?
Well, you know what? No, it's fine. You keep wearing it.
Yeah, let's just let them
It's
go.
So triple frontier. I don't know what that is. It's 67% of Rotten Tomatoes. I haven't heard anything about it. Climax came out last week, technically, correct?
Yeah, we're not getting it till like what, later next week or even 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then there's
New York and LA shouldn't count. Triple Frontier's Netflix.
And there's something called Gloria Bell coming out this week. I haven't heard of that either. But it is 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Isn't it A24?
Is it? Because I would see it if, well, I'm not going to say 100% I would see it.
Yeah, it's A24.
I'll probably see it then. So the pickings are just
there's
slim.
only 22 reviews out of that, but it's 100%.
All right, let's get into the story.
All right. So the Academy will discuss rules that would level the playing field, but adjusting for Netflix could affect indie titles as well. So Steven Spielberg, don't know if you guys saw, but Steven Spielberg was not happy about Roma being as... Yeah, he wasn't happy about Roma. Period.
Or Roma.
So you cannot make a letter mistake on this end of the table today. I'm telling you. Just saying.
So yeah, he was very miffed about Roma getting the Oscars that it did and getting as close to winning the prized title.
Best Picture,
yeah, and so he was saying that a Netflix film backed by massive sums didn't play by the same rules as its analog studio competitors.
What are you talking about? It was released in 70mm.
Yeah.
As far as he's concerned, Netflix should only compete for awards in the Emmy arena. As the Academy governor representing the director's branch, Spielberg is eager to support rule changes when it convenes for its annual post-Oscar meeting. Steven feels strongly about the difference between the streaming and theatrical situation. Steven. Honestly, when it comes to determining rules, things become murky. Studios are hopping mad that Roma could come so close to winning the prize and state these complaints. Netflix spent too much, estimated at $50 million in Oscar spend. Green Book, for comparison, was only $5 million. The massive Roma push crushed foreign language distributors. So Sony Picture Classics co-president Michael Barker said he had no financial option but to release Never Look Away in Capernaum when theaters opened up after the holidays, which meant fewer Academy voters had a chance to see it. Right. Roma only spent 3 weeks as a theatrical exclusive. Netflix doesn't report box office, which that has never really come into factor before.
No.
And doesn't respect the 90-day theatrical window, and it's available in 190 countries 24/7. It's not really clear how they fail to meet Academy standards. Box office numbers have no impact. Every year, films qualify with just 1 week of exclusive theatrical play, so it's like they're grasping at straws here. There's a growing sense that if Netflix is going to behave like a studio, there should be some sort of standard, said one Academy governor. Now, keep in mind, Netflix, the streaming behemoth, isn't their only concern. You got Amazon Studios coming out with more stuff, Disney Plus on the horizon, AT&T and Apple. So there's tons of room for other streaming services to come in and maybe show their face at the Oscars. So, yeah.
Okay,
So here's the first thing. One thing I do want to comment about that, where they in this article they say, "Oh, well, films get nominated all the time with only 1 week of play." Well, one, that's not 100% true. There are films that do get nominated with 1 week of play, but it's not 1 week of play in Utah.
No.
It's 1 week of play in a major cinema in New York or California with a certain level of publicity
There's
applied.
specifically LA or
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go
specifically
through the rules to nominate. What is the qualifications to be nominated for an Oscar?
What was actually
One,
at that?
it is to be publicly exhibited by means of 35mm or 70mm film in its 24 or 48 frame progressive scan Dolby Cinema format. It could be a DCP, it could be film, it can Blu-ray.
Yeah, we're not determining the
Blu-ray does
medium.
not meet the requirements. It could be in 7.1 or 5.1. It could be mono. It has to.
All that stuff is fine.
Yeah,
that's pretty much all films.
For paid admission in a commercial motion picture theater in Los Angeles County. For a qualifying run of at least 7 consecutive days, during which the period screenings must occur between at least 3 times daily, with one screening beginning between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. daily. Advertised and exploited during their Los Angeles County qualifying run in a manner normal and customary to theatrical feature distribution practices, and released within the Academy year's deadline specified in Rule 3. That is the requirements.
Yeah.
Now, does Roma meet those requirements?
Yes.
I don't know.
What is the issue?
Did it play in that theater?
Yes, it played in a theater on
it did.
70mm film 2 weeks prior.
Okay, so I think that the thing is, and I'm a little surprised at your opinion on this. Plus,
That's the
specifically
rules.
because I know you don't particularly love that movie. You just like parts of it. But here's the thing: this is not you're focusing on this specific movie. I think the overarching conversation is about the future and what we've been doing so far. Okay, so they squeezed it in that space just under the bare minimum of rules. But the thing is, when you're talking about Netflix, when they're doing the bare minimum, really, what is Netflix?
Well, they're a studio.
Right, but what do?
They produce and distribute films on a
Web streaming service.
in a theatrical format
In
and
a
in
web
a web
streaming service,
Yes.
and one in 25 they actually put in the theater.
It also states that the rules, you must basically show it in a theater for a week first before going to digital.
Right.
So, did Netflix break the rules?
I don't know.
No. The answer is no.
Well, but
I recall seeing Roma
you're-
in theater.
I was going to say
not visually seeing it, but like seeing
Yeah.
advertisements for it in theaters before it hit Netflix.
it did. It played it
So-
before. This one movie, yeah. But what the overarching conversation is about the rules in general. And my thing is Netflix is trying to sort of control the market and just say, look, we're putting out movies and we want them to win Oscars regardless of what we do.
Films
Because-
that in any version receive their first public exhibition
Okay,
distribution.
I got it.
Yeah.
Roma hit the rules,
Yeah.
but what we're talking about is the overarching conversation.
Well-
Can Netflix get Bright submitted for an Oscar?
Yes.
No.
Actually, no. It premiered first on
Right.
Netflix.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
My whole
like
thing-
every other film that they put out.
Okay.
My thing is,
They put The Ballad of Buster Scruggs in the theater
Right.
first. Because it's Joel Nathan Cohen. Because it's Alfonso Cuarón.
My opinion is people who create content like Roma, like Ballad of Buster Scruggs,
right.
like the studios that are traditional, like Fox, Paramount, all that stuff. You need to realize we're switching over to a new generation of media content. It's not. I can't tell you how many times Nico and I, when we first got together, were going to the movies because
Right.
that's what we had. Now, we want to watch a movie, we go Hulu, we go Netflix, we go Amazon, we go
Okay.
any other place. So I think giving those outlets fair marketing.
And we do. We
Yeah.
have the Emmys. The
Well-
Emmys are TV and it's TV.
Yeah, but
You know,
what about
and
the
see-
movies that they put all their heart and soul into? If they
There's
make
a-
a movie that's good
ABC
enough for an Oscar and meets the rules,
Both
go for
ABC
it.
and CBS used to make TV movies all the time.
Yeah, but they were crap.
Well, and most of what Netflix makes is crap. Most of
Yeah,
what they
but
put-
some of it is good.
So it's funny that you say that, and I knew someone at this table was going to say that because Alan Smith brought that up to me too. In
Oh God, I take
conversation.
it back.
So-
Yeah, wait. So because we're all switching to an inferior format. Okay. So let me ask you.
I didn't mean to snort like that.
But let me ask it to you this way. So because we eat McDonald's 3 times a week, and we eat a gourmet restaurant once a month, we should start giving Michelin stars to McDonald's.
No.
Oh God, no.
Well, then it's the same thing.
Yeah,
I don't
but
think
here's
it's
the thing:
the-
a little restaurant in Tokyo, a little restaurant in the back streets of Tokyo, is a 5-star Michelin restaurant. Want to know why? Because it's good.
It's
not a great,
it's because
fancy restaurant.
No.
It's a little home cooking meal kitchen.
but that
but it's
chef
good.
you're talking about, Jiro, that chef puts.
Actually, no. There's actually another
Okay.
one.
The
So-
fact is, though, they put that much work into it. They put that much work.
Therefore, if they put that much work into creating a movie, whether it be Netflix, whether it be Amazon, they should get the recognition they deserve if they make a truly good movie.
Let me ask you this. Our film. if it goes to Hulu or Shudder streaming, and it's not it goes to streaming first, but we also get the chance to show it in the theater. Do you think it should be eligible for an Oscar? If it was that good.
Did we meet the requirements?
But let's say
for documentary, did we?
But here's the thing: we did. But let's say, for instance, we did show it in the theater first,
Right.
and then it got picked up by Shudder.
Right.
Would you say, "Oh no, we need to go to the Emmys," or we
Yeah,
need to go to the
I
Oscars?
would. I would.
Oh no, I'd be like, Oscars, let's go.
No, because you want the Oscar, and it's Netflix because they want it. It's a, there's a time when
category for best documentary.
Yeah, but there's a time where you have to have the
There's
problem.
not one at the Emmys.
The problem with art though is it's subjective. So you have to draw a line in the sand and say this is black and this is white, this is red and this is green.
But
So
that's
here's
the
the
thing
thing.
is, art's not black and white.
well,
It's
no,
art
But when you
here's
put
the
it
thing.
in a competitive situation, you can't go in a gray area on it. You have to have this set of terms, and this is how it goes.
The thing is,
It
that
has to
line
be
has
that
been
way.
drawn. Zach just read the line 5
Yeah,
minutes
Right,
ago.
right.
So-
But the problem is, and we're focusing again on Roma, and that's not the discussion. Roma is the catalyst for the discussion of what Netflix and some of these other guys want.
So you want to
compared
now
the-
move the goalposts so that Netflix can't join?
No, Netflix, you're missing it. Netflix wants to move the goalpost their direction.
They're not moving it at all.
No.
You
Yeah.
don't think?
No, they made that
you
movie
don't- you-
specifically for the requirements
No,
of
if
the
you
You
Oscars.
come and
sure.
play football, and these are the rules of football, and you play football.
You
It's
don't-
like you can't say that because you're middle
don't-
schoolers.
You don't believe that Netflix wants to pull the Oscar nomination rules their direction.
So I'm
you
sure,
don't believe that.
I'm sure
They're
they
not
do.
asking them to
Weinstein
change
wanted
the
to-
rules.
Weinstein wanted to pull it his direction when he was Mystery
I'm
Inc.
sure-
90% sure that they do, but
Yeah.
they're doing it the correct way and conforming to the rules set before them by the Academy.
No.
Now, the Academy Awards can go back and change those rules to limit Netflix capability, but as far as this year's nominees, it conformed to the rules, so they did not lose.
See,
the
okay,
Yeah,
look, I'm
that,
sure
for
I-
that film. I mean,
I'm
again,
sure-
we're talking about that film.
I am positive, of course, everybody wants the rules to be adjusted so it's more favorable for them to win. That's
Exactly.
That's unsurprising. That's
Well,
not
and
a
that's-
problem.
and
But
that's where we are.
But the issue at hand isn't necessarily does Netflix want to make it easier for them. It's is there a set of current Academy members that wants to specifically make it harder for Netflix and other producers of its kind to win awards, even if they follow what the current rules are?
Oh,
Do they
I
want to-
absolutely believe there probably are.
Yeah, and
I don't doubt that.
And if you want to make it, it's like, okay, it's got to be in theater longer. Maybe there's got to be a longer window. Fine. But just basically the attitude of this producer is not good enough, especially when the fact that other online streaming companies have made Oscar-winning films.
Right.
Amazon makes Oscar-winning films, and this Amazon doesn't get the backlash. This is
Well,
against Netflix.
and the reason Amazon doesn't get the backlash, and the reason you don't hear me talk in a negative way about Amazon, is they do the right things.
This is because they're better content
Well,
too.
Their
They're-
content
Yes.
is better. They put more time in. They put more passion into not the making of the film. The filmmakers are always going to be the ones putting passion into it, even if it's crap. But they put more passion and love into the cinematic process to the end.
So, okay, what you're saying is because Amazon does a 500 theater or even 200 theater release, where Netflix does the 5 theater release.
Right.
So if Netflix stepped up their game and did a 200 theater release, would this be an issue?
No.
There it is.
You know what?
100% it would not.
Because
You know what
Netflix does the
movie-
minimum requirements, which is the only requirement
Because
required.
the only reason they're doing it is to try and get the award.
I mean, trust me. Would I have loved to see Roma on a big screen first? Absolutely.
And you know, and
I
I read
I wish I knew it was coming to the Belcourt because I was just held off.
This boils down to some other issues too. Like I've read a lot of articles, especially in this last week, about Roma and how it's much better received in the theatrical experience than it has been at home.
I could tell just by looking at it. It's like this is not meant to be seen on
But
a
the
small
fact,
screen.
my
Hey, Steven.
Yeah.
You know what movie I hope? This is just from me.
Yeah.
You know what movie I hope gets nominated for an
Oh,
Oscar?
here we go.
Gundam.
Oh, see, we didn't even really finish this
Come on,
conversation.
this is still ongoing.
Here we go.
We don't need to thank you for the attempt, Tina.
Yeah.
But I'm fine not transitioning yet. I think the way it comes across. I think the problem is how it comes across.
Yeah.
If the Academy wants to go, we want to focus on the theatrical experience more. So we are wanting to mandate a longer tenure in theater or something like that, or that would at least jive a little bit better with me. It would feel more actually honest, I guess. More, but
those rules are fine.
yeah,
I guess
but
the thing
that
bothers
comes across me is it's how Zach opened the episode. Old man yells at a cloud. It seems like Steven Spielberg is just yelling at a cloud.
And it might be because like I think I messaged Alan. I said, let's sit down. I will pull you a drama, any drama you pick, made by Netflix, and I will pull you the same level of drama that was made for cinema, and you'll see a difference in the production value, the quality, and the work that went into it. Because Netflix makes things that look like TV. And I've always believed that the Oscars were there for the cinematic experience. It's supposed to be, and it's not always, but it's supposed to be the best of the best. We always had MTV Movie Awards and other things for the other stuff.
And to be fair, I don't know how much Netflix actually was involved in the production of Roma.
That's what I was getting
They
at.
just paid for it.
Yes.
They
That's
just
the
bought
thing,
it.
is Roma and Battle of Buster Scruggs were made independently outside of a studio and then picked up by Netflix.
Right.
So they do have that more cinematic appeal.
So that makes,
Whereas Bright was...
Yeah, but you and I both, and you, or well, I think you know this. But if we look back, to the era of Miramax and the Weinsteins, when they were spending this level of money, when they had it to spend on movies, they would have their 2 or 3 movies that were legit offerings, and they would drag the rest of the crap right along behind them and use that money to push that stuff through. And that's exactly Netflix method right now. Netflix has moved from...
It worked for Miramax.
Well, no, it didn't. They ended up paying for it, and they ended up getting in a lot of trouble over what they spent. I remember that was when sort of there was this breaking point about what was allowed to be spent on Oscar promotion. And they cracked down on it. And then all of a sudden, now no one's paying attention again, and you get Netflix spending, ungodly sums and giving away Rolexes again for votes, and that is another issue.
I'll vote for
and I'm fine with that. If the Academy wants to clamp down on this sort of pay for play, you're just trying to do.
I absolutely agree.
Clamp down on that.
Yeah, that's what
crap.
happened. That's exactly what happened with Roma. $55 million they spent, more than anybody else is spending on Oscar votes.
Oh no, I fully agree with you on that should be clamped down because the film should be able to speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And if you are an Oscar voter, you need to watch the material and honestly, prove that you've watched it. I mean, if this means we have to take a 10-question test at the end of it.
I mean, honestly,
seriously,
when we were
watch
playing our
the
Oscar
required
game,
material, or else don't be a voter.
Yeah, when we were watching our Oscar game and it came to animated films, we all thought, it's going to be going to Incredibles or some other Disney Pixar because that's what they know. They don't know this one or this one or this one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it comes down a lot to
It's also like when we were talking online separately. How many of the Oscar voters or of the Academy members are watching screeners at home?
Right.
Yeah.
They're not getting the theatrical experience.
Right. And that is a problem too. That is a problem too.
Obviously, everybody needs a home theater.
Yes. Everybody does need a home theater. But for me, it bothers me I make movies the way everybody else is making movies now for streaming. That's the way Zach and I work. And I get that. But the Oscars...
Lord, I'd love to see it on a big screen. But
for sure. But for me, the Oscars has always been about movies made for cinema. It is the cinematic experiences is a big freaking screen and somebody who knows how to use that space and tell a beautiful story. Someone who will use more than one camera to shoot their film, for God's sake. And that is not what happens.
Sitting there with a bucket of popcorn, reaching in and realizing you're out because you're just so invested.
Exactly, and that is not what happens in 99% of streaming films.
You're right, but also 99% of streaming films didn't get nominated for an Oscar.
Exactly.
One did.
No, two.
Two? Oh yeah, Ballard did get for...
Well, and again,
but my point again is...
Roma is an exception.
Yeah,
Roma is not the rule.
Ballard. And I agree. I don't think there's a problem with the
Bright
rules
is
as
the rule.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bright also isn't getting nominated. And I don't think...
But that's what's next. That's the direction that they want to go. I'm telling you...
Well, if your film is good enough to stand on its own, it doesn't matter the platform it's released.
Oh, I
if it's
agree with that
good, if it's good.
Your honesty about believing that the Oscars is not the right place for your documentary is refreshing. I also think you're the exception. I think anybody who puts out a movie on any medium, doesn't care what, will say, if I have a chance to make my movie get an Oscar, I'll want it.
No,
that
that's
don't,
me.
that's
See,
me. Yeah, I don't.
that's just
Honestly, I don't
again,
make movies and I would like an Oscar.
to me
I could
that's
shoot a
fakery.
movie.
I would rather for my film
That's
it
why I
should
say
be an
I think-
independent spirit
I
award.
think
That's
you're-
what I would like.
and that's why too.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I think
fine,
you're an
too.
exception.
Yeah.
But not the rule. That said, it is up to the Academy to go, well, that doesn't fit. And most of Netflix's stuff does not fit.
Yeah.
Roma did. Ballad
And
of Buster Scruggs
you-
did. And if they want to go, you know what, like I said, cherish the theatrical experience more, that's fine. They can do that if they want. Don't come across. That's the thing. It's how they came across. How Spielberg came
when
across.
you say they, it's really Spielberg.
Yeah.
But what's really funny is Zach posted a video that's in defense of his position on it. But 90% of that video actually follows my argument about the whole thing. And it's not just Spielberg. I mean, Tarantino is perfectly happy to tell you he doesn't subscribe to Netflix. It's not just Steven Spielberg being a 60-year-old man.
Yeah, but
I'm not
Tarantino
taking
films
Tarantino's
are
word
not-
on anything.
But Tarantino or David Lynch isn't. I'm just gonna say they're a higher quality to where if you are watching those films for the first time at home, man, I feel sorry for you.
That's the point.
But-
that's the point. And when you question
But
them,
that's what I was
the
saying. is
architects
if
of
I
film
had
in
known
general,
Roma was going to come to town, I would have saved it and gone to the theater.
I think also it's easy nowadays
Because
for us
if I lived in LA County, I'd be able to.
right.
So these
But-
Oscar
no,
winners
we
which
live
live in
in
LA County should be
Nashville.
able to.
But the fact is what you're doing is never mind.
Honestly, what I think is what
Want
the
to hop
Academy.
on my Segway?
Here, I think what the Academy should do. Like I said, I am fine with the Academy wanting to
I'm fine with them
enforce.
wanting to change the rules
Well,
in
particularly
a broad sense,
particularly
not
to
specifically for.
broad is actually what I was going to get to. To enforce the cinematic experience of the films. If they want to celebrate cinema in theaters, what I think they should do more than anything else is expand the, not just like you have to air in 2 weeks in New York or LA.
I think it should be a month.
I think a month, and I think you need to have a wider market.
Yeah.
I think it needs to not be an or, not like how it's like New York or LA. I think you need to do it in so many different cities, so many different
and
markets.
you
add
wanna know
Atlanta
why?
to that list
In-
because Atlanta, you're having a lot of movie makers go to Atlanta. Why not
Right.
have a release section there?
And this is in defense of my
I can
my
drive
own,
4 hours to a movie.
This is my only in defense of my own genre. Is I think that amendment or that part of that rule of those two counties is specifically for smaller genres like documentary that will never get a wide release wide enough. And that's the reason I fully believe that's the reason it's there.
I think in that case-
Because then you end up with like the Nashville Film Festival. If you win the Best Doc Award, you get a week. You get played a week in LA County. That's your prize. So now
That's
you're
true.
Oscar qualifying. So there's ways in there for doc filmmakers and for other indie.
I mean, by technical definition, The Room
It's
was
an Oscar,
eligible
yeah.
for an Oscar because it played in LA County for over a
right,
week.
because he four-walled a theater.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
but
I'm right.
I
Zach's
do
wrong.
fully agree. It's like I do because I remember when The Hateful Eight was coming out.
Yeah.
There was a 70 mil. Now it's Atlanta. It's like I'm fully expecting to drive down to Atlanta to see
Yeah.
that.
Same.
70
Yeah,
mil.
we
got
I
it.
mean,
We
we,
were ready.
have
And
so
then
many friends and family. We can just make a weekend.
And then
of it.
Nashville.
Exactly.
It came to Nashville. It's like, oh boy.
That was good.
You call yourself not a DP. You're fired. You're fired. Next story.
Look at him.
All right.
You gave the Gundam to the Gundam.
Of course. And famed comic book creator and New York Times bestselling author Brian K. Vaughan has signed on to write the screenplay for Gundam, the first live-action film, kind of, based on the popular mecha anime and
Don't
science
talk about the other one.
fiction media franchise created by the Japanese.
We're all just messing up words.
Created by the Japanese animation studio Sunrise. The project hails from Legendary Entertainment in co-production with Sunrise. Vaughn is best known for creating comic book franchises Y: The Last Man, Ex Machina, Runaways, Saga, which is just went on a year hiatus, which is all of those are fantastic books. Next month actually marks the 40th anniversary of Mobile Suit Gundam, which was the original Mobile Suit,
40
the original
years?
Gundam series.
40
Yep.
years.
Holy cow.
1979.
Wow.
It launched a massive franchise, particularly in new shows, new movies, animated movies, and also toys, model kits. The series was created and directed by Yoshiyuki Tomino. It was originally a middling success when it first aired, but reruns and the toy line really hit it out of the park. Tomino's animated saga was part of the mecha genre. The
Giant
robots.
robots.
Giant robots, big deal in 70s and 80s anime.
Yeah.
The sci-fi subgenre centers on giant robots in combat, but Gundam was the start, or one of the early starts of the genre, kind of veering away from the superhero cartoony robots, going into a much more militaristic and politically inclined, war-themed series. Tomino re-envisioned giant robots as colossal weapons of war at the center of complex military epics. They had ace pilots, they had crews, mechanics, the everyman people were in the show.
It had floating women in space.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Who doesn't want that?
Gundam has generated billions of dollars in the decade since and has altered the course of Japanese animation while rewiring ambitions and aesthetics for all of mecha anime. The project will be overseen by Cale Boiter on behalf of Legendary with Sunrise creative team as well. Back in December, it was also announced that Brian K. Vaughan had inked a 3-year deal with Legendary, in which the studio would adapt several of his own projects, as well as produce exclusive original projects developed by Vaughan for film and television, which this might be one of them. Up next, Vaughan is also serving as an executive producer for the FX series Why the Last Man, based on his book, and they will be starring Diane Lane, Timothy Hutton, and Amber Tamblyn.
Totally just missed Type Detector's name in the chat, by the way, because he's in there.
He is also an executive consultant on the Hulu series Runaways, which is now on its 2nd season.
So,
Nico and I are going to go see this movie.
we're all going to go see it. And I want to be excited.
And we're going to pray that it's not another G Savior.
Oh,
well, I want to be excited because Brian K. Vaughan.
Yeah.
I'm already excited because
But I remember Pacific Rim.
Yeah, but
and there was good people behind that too.
Yeah, I like Pacific Rim, but Pacific Rim is also a much different property.
Pacific Rim took itself way too seriously.
Yeah, especially the second one.
Based off the description of what Gundam has become, though, is it would take itself seriously.
Because it is serious.
Oh,
Gundam is serious.
Yeah.
Brian K. Vaughan, if anybody pitched a name, it was like, here's the guy running the Gundam movie, I couldn't think of anyone better. Because when I look back at his works, Why the Last Man...
Excellent.
Which is also being converted to TV.
Yeah.
Yes. Why the Last Man and Saga in particular, I think those two books deal with average, regular people in the middle of war or this war-like awful experience, just trying to make it out alive. And that is what the original Mobile Suit Gundam is. It's these kids who basically have to turn into soldiers fighting for their lives and trying to escape bad guys who are trying to take them down. And the bad guys aren't really all that bad. They're just the opposite force.
Right.
And
Xeon did nothing wrong.
But yeah, I think that would be... they did drop a colony on Earth and killed millions of people. That's something
Nothing
wrong.
wrong.
That's kind of wrong.
Nothing wrong.
That seems a little wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but
There's a lot of stuff I'm very interested to see if they put in, because, I mean, Gundam was a very long series. I mean, even broken down here recently when they did the Gundam animated movies, they basically condensed it into, what,
3 2-hour movies.
Yeah. So taking such a complex story and making one movie, I'm very interested.
Well, but couldn't you see it broken up into like a trilogy?
I would love
I think
to.
they could break it. I think they could break up the original.
I don't think they make big budget
series.
films like that without a thought.
Oh no,
for trilogy
there's going to be a franchise thought process.
Yeah.
They could easily do a trilogy based on the original 1 Year War Mobile Suit Gundam storyline, because as Tina said, the original series, which is about 42 episodes, has been compressed. Was compressed in the 80s to be 3 feature-length movies. So they kind of got a good footprint to do that. And if they want to go other routes, they could instead go, here's the 1 Year War, here's Zeta or something, and then here's Char's counterattack. So there's a huge variety of content to farm to make a Gundam movie.
It's so
But
funny.
you got to keep in mind, a lot of the content that it was in the original Mobile Suit Gundam might not translate very well on screen. So it's interesting, like I said, it'll be interesting to see what they keep, what they add in, what they throw away. It's going to be an interesting experience, and one I think both Nico and I are very much looking forward to.
It's so weird, the era in which this whole franchise really started as an animated TV show, because I missed it. Like, but that was my space for so many years. I grew up being hardcore into Robotech.
No, that was the
Robotech was, I love
Robot Jocks?
Yeah,
No, that was the
Robot
weird
Jocks.
thing.
I preferred
Robotech,
Macross. Okay.
Robotech.
I love Macross.
Robotech, which was adapted from Macross in 2 other series. It was a weird mix mash. It is kind of
Star
Macross
Blazer's also weird mismatch.
But Macross is especially like one of the other early
Yeah.
renditions of the, but it came out a little bit after Gundam.
Yeah.
Gundam was definitely something that led to what became Macross and Robotech. It's just we in America didn't really get Gundam until the late 90s.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what it is, because I was into Robotech,
Yeah.
I was into Voltron, I even watched reruns of Gigantor.
Yeah.
Because I think that was the 60s and 70s.
Gigantor
I
and
remember-
Voltron, well,
Voltron's more 80s.
Yeah. I remember dipping my foot into the Gundam pool with Gundam Wing, and that's a completely different, timeline.
yeah. And that's also something that will confuse American audiences like, crazily, because it's hard enough to get people to understand comic continuity. Trying to explain Gundam continuity is a whole different ballgame.
It's probably wise if they just set up their own version of the continuity for the
Yeah.
feature films.
Yes.
They just
Well, I
kinda-
don't think it's going to be integrated or
No,
sequel
they
or
should
anything.
definitely stick with the original Mobile Suit, Zeta, Charge Counterattack universe.
I think it's the easier thing to
Yeah.
cinematically adapt because it's a very easy thought process. I don't know if they'll go into new types all that much. I kind of don't think they should.
No.
Yeah.
But still, I
At
think,
least not in the first
or they
movie.
could just make their own Gundam universe because
Yeah.
there's
I have a sneaking
Same.
suspicion when you start thinking about Brian K. Vaughan is I feel like he would take the things that he likes from all of it and just kind of creates his own thing.
I think he will.
That's what's
Yeah,
gonna happen.
and you know what? I'm not upset about that thought.
the only thing
As
I
long
want.
as he brings in some of the look.
Yeah.
You know, as long as the director can bring in some of the Gundam look. So
Yeah.
you would see it created in the real world. It'd be cool.
There's 2 things I'm most. I'm most looking forward to finding out the announcements of the things that will solidify it. I love the Brian K. Vaughan's a screenwriter. I need to know who the director is. If I think they'll screw up the script that Brian K. Vaughan will do, or if they'll be able to deliver on it, and I need to see what the live action Gundam will look like because that's going to sell everything.
They're gonna wait till the last minute to give you that.
Who would be your dream pick for director?
I don't even know. That's so hard.
I'd have to think on that one long.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that did Bumblebee?
Oh, the director of Koopa and the Two Strings.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good.
I only say that because he already has experience with the giant robot thing and the CGI necessary to make it look cool, but he still managed to focus on character. Because if you watch Bumblebee, he focuses on the girl and her character and brings that to the
Well, yeah,
forefront.
but you got to keep in mind, Gundam, they're not sentient robots. They're
I know.
robots.
I'm just talking
So
about
the character
from dealing
will
with the
be
visual
the
of it.
pilot, yeah.
Yeah, just
But visually, yeah.
Yeah,
I
Visually.
will
This
say
one.
definitely not Michael Bay.
Let's
just get that
Michael Bay? Hold on, let's get him on the horn. Michael, you want to do another robot movie? He's not attached to any Transformers movies anymore.
Travis Knight. Is
Yeah. I just thought, because he's got a good grasp on sort of the difference in size and sort of the visual look of it, and he did a really good job with character in Bumblebee. So maybe that would be good. I mean, it's the only person I can think of right now, other than
I feel like how I felt when I saw the first Detective Pikachu trailer. I need to see more before I'm fully in. But it's like that line, it's like, you had my curiosity, now you have my attention.
I think it'd be really interesting if Neil Blomkamp did it. I think
that would be
cool.
interesting. That
Because
would be good.
Just thinking about District 9 in particular, it's like that kind of just gritty, war-torn environment is like, oh, that's so much of what Gundam is.
Neil Blomkamp needs a cool movie again. Too.
Yeah.
He hasn't
Yeah, he
done
needs something actually good where he didn't write it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
Right,
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Because, I mean, his shorts are great.
So-
and,
What's the best thing about this compared to Pacific Rim?
What?
What's the best thing
Can't-
about Gundam?
Yeah.
It's Gundam.
Yeah.
I'm looking
And-
forward
and
to it.
no
I
one
don't know
can
if
say
this was a rhetorical
we're going to have to work on a porno title.
And I was going to say, Gundam Rim Job doesn't sound as funny as Pacific Rim Job.
You got to keep in
You're
mind
right,
you're
it
talking
doesn't.
to
Yeah.
pretty hardcore Gundam fans here.
Exactly. So it's not in the list because it's not here yet. But thinking of that, I just saw that there's a new Gatchaman Blu-ray set coming out. The
I
entire,
saw that,
the entire
yeah.
thing
Oh, that'd be
in
really
a
cool.
really cool
Yeah.
box. Yeah, that's one of those influential animes too.
Yeah.
It would never make a good film, I don't think. But it's
It's
a
campy.
cool anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way too campy. All right, so are we going to TV?
Well, let me
Exactly.
Oh, wait,
We got
wait.
one
Yeah,
more.
we have the
We got one
trailer.
more movie.
Hold on, we got something that I can mess up.
You gotta
That's right.
mispronounce everything.
So, an Edge of Tomorrow sequel, or maybe prequel, is something that has been in the works for quite some time, and it seems fitting that it would be, we would be experiencing deja vu for a film that's centered on that idea. Every time news for it comes up, it seems to be the same thing, but hey, we might actually have something new here. According to new reports, the follow-up is heading towards great active development. Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt are expected to reprise with director Doug Liman to helm. Warner Brothers has brought in Matthew Robinson to develop the script. He was one of the writers credited on Monster Trucks. Oh,
Good.
God.
That's so awesome.
That is my honest reaction because I didn't proofread. Oh,
Wow.
great.
Yeah, that's great. That's good news. Good news. Good news. So the only thing I like about this is the two leads. I like both of the leads, and I like them together. But
I like that ending.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to have another one.
And we have we have Russian Doll. We have the sequel. We're good.
Oh, is that like I don't know anything about Russian Doll. Do I now know more than I need to know about?
No,
Russian
because
Doll?
if you look at the
He's
trailer,
making a joke.
yeah. If you look at the trailer, it's just Groundhog Day thing.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm not going to look at the trailer. I'm going to go watch a TV show.
Well, you should just watch Russian
Unless
Doll.
it's Stranger Things or Game of Thrones. I'm not watching a trailer
Russian Doll's
for
great.
a
You
TV
should just watch
show.
it. You just need to watch it. But I don't know. I love that movie. I don't know if there needs to be a sequel though.
No, I don't.
I don't think
it
there
was.
needs to be.
It was. The weird thing about it is, I didn't think it was that profitable to make a sequel.
It
like
wasn't.
it definitely became it's a cult following, to be sure.
Yeah, it's one of those movies I think that grew in home video.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I'll just say this: I never saw it, so I don't really have an opinion
What?
one way or
It's
the other.
good.
I didn't realize you hadn't seen it.
Yeah, it was.
fix that.
I mean, I was kind
Yeah.
of busy with the mom having cancer thing.
We'll fix
We
that.
need to fix that over here. We'll have movie night over here.
I
And watch it.
really feel the problem with this film is they're going to go Happy Death Day to You on it.
Oh, you think they're gonna go more comedic or something, or
I-
try to explain it more?
Well, they already explained it in the first
Well,
one.
don't be too spoilery.
But they're going to, over explain it, and we need to do this to do this again. And it's like, no.
Yeah, no.
The first one stands on its own, and it holds up
the
on
only
its own.
literal only thing that makes me excited about this is I liked Emily Blunt and Tom Cruise together. I thought they were a good combo in that movie.
I mean, I love Emily
I mean,
Blunt. Period.
Same.
Right?
I'll watch just about anything that she's in.
Because, let's be real, if they do a sequel,
You said doo-doo.
can we please call it All You Need Is Kill?
No, I think it's-
Nah.
Can we call it Cliff of Yesterday?
Thanks for the crappy jokes. Let's go to TV.
I mean, I was going to the title of the original manga, but sure.
Yeah, I
say
know.
it's a joke.
No, I got it. I
Yeah.
thought, all you need is kill is what the manga that was adapted from, and I think it would be cool to work that in somewhere.
Why didn't they work that in the original?
I don't know. I also don't know why they went with Edge of Tomorrow because they ended up changing that. I was surprised they still called it Edge of Tomorrow in the story and not Live Die Repeat like they did in home video. Really.
Yeah. Well, and I think the Blu-ray says Edge of Tomorrow somewhere.
Well, it says
in
it in
small
really
letters.
small print.
Yeah.
Like, the movie
technically
itself
it's
says Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, but the big
So would you
label
look this
on the
movie
front
up?
is Live Die Repeat.
Would you look at this movie up under the L or E?
Well, we'll look it up under the E.
I'm
And hope for the
curious.
best.
I'm actually curious. Can we go to IMDb and see what this says?
Well, I think really what you should do is go to Amazon and search for the Blu-ray and see how it comes up. That's where I think you're going to find that title issue to be more interesting.
Let's see.
Well, while he's looking that up, you
So-
want to start the TV discussion?
Absolutely. The 90s classic movie, The Sandlot, is coming back. Sandlot,
I'm so happy.
direct. I am. You don't know. I quote this movie almost every day. Whenever somebody
much.
says forever, I go, forever. Like, I love this movie. Sandlot director David Mickey Evans, sorry, I had to swallow. Recently revealed on the podcast Rain Delay that a television series will bring back all the original cast members from the movie. Even people who don't like baseball appreciate the plot, set in the 60s where an outcast boy finds his place in a new neighborhood with new friends through pickup ball games. Evans, who recently announced a movie prequel was also in the works, said the TV series will be set in 1984, according to Slash Film. The movie ended with a sequence showing where the boys ended up, but Evans doesn't say if that's the same plot of the TV show will follow.
So this
Will
is
they be bringing back the dog?
this is a really interesting. The fact that it is actually a sequel,
Right.
or kind of an almost revisioned sequel, and that it's got the same kids that are playing it 20 years later.
Is there anybody there that's an actor that's like a name actor in that movie?
Negative.
One of the kids?
No.
I don't think so. So why is it so important, really? I mean, I guess it's cool.
The nostalgia, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's playing almost entirely on the nostalgia.
But
Yeah,
the weird
and
thing
I
about
get it.
Well,
I
I
get
don't.
that.
I kind of get it, but the thing that made it such a movie that resonated with people of that age is that they were that age. They were those kids,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the idea of being a kid in the neighborhood, in the suburbs, running around, running amok, playing baseball with your friends, or
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't.
Hooking up with lifeguards.
It doesn't, but it doesn't have to be baseball. It could be other sports. Whatever you did as a kid, running around the neighborhood in the height of summer, that is something that people did. And now they're 20 years older as adults, and they're going to do the same thing. What are they going to do? What's
I
the
feel like to
Sorry
me,
guys, I can't play ball today. I have to work in the morning.
Right.
Like I understand if it's
I
kids.
feel like what I feel like though is this show is meant to connect with the same people that liked it as a kid, and they're going to try and connect with those same people at this age.
I guess, but I
As
don't.
parents and how they deal with that, and
Maybe.
that sounds horrible to me, but I feel like that's what's
Going
going to
off
happen.
of what you just said, maybe like the whole bringing back the original cast members, maybe it's not going to focus on them. Maybe it's going to focus on their children, following almost in their footsteps.
They could,
Probably,
here's
but
the
the
other
world's
thing about
completely
that.
different now.
Of the Sandlot, well, I mean, if it takes place in the 80s, you could still kind
Yeah.
of have that
I
same
guess.
effect because every 80s.
But
I mean,
you know,
look
but
at
you know
Stranger
what?
Things.
Yeah,
They
but,
managed to
and
have
also Stranger Things is a perfect example of a show that features kids, but it's connecting with a much older age group.
But the other thing,
Yeah.
though, with the Sandlot is you really only have two sets of adults in it. You have the main character, the new kid who moves in. You have Smalls' parents. Because the fact
Killing
because,
Smalls.
Yeah, because one of the story elements is he steals his stepdad's baseball and they lose it, so they have to go get it. And then you have oh crap, I'm blanking on the name. Darth Vader.
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones is you have James Earl Jones. As
Just say
the-
Darth Vader. It makes that ending amazing.
Yeah.
Or Mufasa.
But you also have James Earl Jones there too, and but
That's the
everything
other
else
part, yeah.
is kids. You don't have the other kids' parents. You don't have this side plot that follows the parents while like cutting away to the parents while the kids are doing something. No,
Yeah, but-
the entire narrative is all about the kids. The adults are only there to interact with the kids.
It can feel
So-
a little grasping.
Yeah, it feels very. grasping.
It's like if you took a show from the 80s like The Breakfast Club. I don't need to know what they did 30 years later. That was a moment in
God,
time.
no.
They became the dinner club.
They pinned a treatment
I know,
for
I know.
a sequel, and boy, it's good we never got that.
Yeah, but that's the point, though. Is you take like The Sandlot is such a film of that era of time that it's that sort of snapshot,
Yeah.
and sometimes you don't need to go back to that.
That's my point. If you were going to go back to it, if you were going to revisit The Sandlot, it should just be kids. It's you can make a show version of new kids who were the same kids, but just
But
the
you know
same
what, though?
characters being kids playing
But
baseball.
just by definition of time passing, it can't be the same kind of show
Yeah.
because kids are different, the situations are different, life is different now.
And I will
so really,
say-
you would just be trading on the name.
And how
again.
are we going to get our trademark in there? You're killing me, Smalls,
I know.
without Smalls.
And I will say,
yeah, small. It just wouldn't
as
be
much
the same thing.
as much as I was excited reading the story, I have to say they did try to do a sequel, and it backfired.
Yeah,
like,
the sequel didn't.
The
work
sequel
out too
was
well.
awful.
Was it
No-
bad? I never even knew there was a sequel.
Yeah, it was almost straight to DVD. Like it was
Like the sequel
cringeworthy
to The
awful.
Lost Boys.
Yeah.
So, just
So-
a quick update on the Edge of Tomorrow debacle. If you go to Amazon and type in "Live Die Repeat," according to Amazon, the title is "Live Die Repeat: Edge of Tomorrow,"
And that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense as what's something stupid that they
which on the box it says in big bold words "Live Die Repeat," and the bottom in red it says "Cruise Blunt Edge of Tomorrow." All those like Edge of Tomorrow is one word.
Edge of Tomorrow is one word, as
Yeah.
if it's one of the other stars of the movie.
I'm like, who's this actor? Yeah. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, it is only $5.99 right now on
The
Amazon
Blu-ray?
for Blu-ray. That's
and we're not getting a 4K.
I want 4K though.
I do. Well, you know what? We probably would get a 4K if the sequel happens.
That's true, honestly.
So I guess I should hold off. But
Oh,
yeah,
God.
damn, $6 for that movie.
Order two of them and I'll Venmo you. I don't have it either. I don't have it. It's cheap. Dude, you could get $4 for it at McKay's.
Let's investigate the case to see their price. First.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
All
yeah,
right.
it's just-
So the thing with the Sandlot that to wrap up is, I get the excitement, and it could be great.
But it also could be bad.
It's like a 50. It's like a
Yeah.
split road. Which one we end up going?
I would almost say it's like 30% chance of being good and 70% chance.
You're probably
not
right.
bad. Like,
Probably right. I did see
as
the
much
sequel
as
to Lost
I
Boys.
love this movie,
Well, and that's the thing. The more you love it, the harder it is for this thing to
Yeah.
be good.
yeah.
Controversial opinion. I just don't really get this film. It's not bad. I just go.
No, I don't get it either. I don't have the love for the film, but I get it in that way. It's that sort of. It depends on when you see it, what age you are when you see it, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. I think that's
Oh
the thing.
God, I was 19 when I saw
Yeah,
it.
you were too old.
Yeah, I was like 7.
Yeah, that's the age. That's 7 to about 12 in that sort of space. I think is where you want to see that movie.
Yeah, I saw it and I went.
See, that's the age. The first time I saw.
I mean, granted, I think you would have said that if you were 4 too, because I mean that's just you.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, that's probably true.
I saw E.T. and I went.
Okay, so before you get out, you get the hell out right now, sir. So before we move into what's coming out this week, I did make a note here that Zach and I both this week watched the epic 4-hour documentary Leaving Neverland.
Don't say too much because I have it in my queue and I plan on watching it.
So you have
this weekend.
HBO.
Well, we have HBO.
we have
Go.
Zach's HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Spoilers.
Good. Well, and here's the funny thing is I posted a quick note on it because at the end of the first hour I texted Zach and I was like, man, this thing is a slow burn. And then at the end of the second hour it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And Nikki, who has been on the show and writes for us for film and stuff, she posted, well, I thought it was a known thing that Michael Jackson was a pedophile. And I'm like, to a lot of people, it is a known thing. To me, it was a known thing. But I also know a lot of people who deny that it's the case. Not now. I challenge you to watch this film and deny it now.
Yeah. Oh, I've never denied it.
I mean, I'm just saying the proverbial.
Yeah.
And, like, you can't look at me and say that it didn't happen after you watch this film. It's not a 4-hour all at once kind of movie. You can't binge this movie.
The first hour is basically who are these people and their childhood and how they met Michael Jackson. Hour 2 is abuse. Hour 3 is their 18 to 20 some lifespan and the death of Michael Jackson. Spoilers for Michael Jackson's dead. And then the last hour is how they live their lives and the effect it had on them. And God, it's like carrying 250 pounds. Like, if you watch this, please do not watch it in one sitting.
And some of these
stuff.
stories, some of the stories we know. I mean, they actually have news footage from when a guy was on the news telling his story before. So it's not that we haven't heard it before, but to hear it in such detail, and you get to hear it in reference to, and this is not spoiling because I'm not going to ruin it for you because you need to watch it.
Yeah.
But you get to hear it in the progression and in the order as it compared to Michael Jackson's life and career. So you can see, oh, well, this is what he was doing the same night he did this thing that you probably saw.
Okay.
So it's powerful stuff. And
in the vein of this documentary, have you watched Abducted in Plain Sight?
No.
Not yet.
You guys should definitely watch that.
I'm currently watching Murder Mountain.
Abducted in Plain Sight is one of the ones that I was just in awe at how somebody could be
on
that
Netflix?
blind. Yeah.
Okay, I'll look it up. I'm watching Murder Mountain on Netflix right now.
And for anyone who doesn't know anything about this, like, and is just going to go into it blind, like user beware. There is some really graphic stuff.
Stuff is graphic.
I mean,
Pedophilia.
Yeah.
like sexual situations.
here's-
Like
did
they
you-
give warnings, and
Yeah.
boy,
So they literally do you know how they do that stupid post show of The Walking Dead after The Walking Dead's over every week, the Chris
Yeah.
Hardwick thing. They literally did a post show for this with the people who were in it, and Oprah Winfrey hosting it. And what I think is really interesting is Oprah was one of the people that stuck by his side for so long, and I think this is her way of saying, yeah, I was wrong. I'm not going to say I was wrong, but I'm going to be involved here, so I know I was wrong, kind of thing. It just felt like, okay.
I mean, my only problem with this doc is, we don't really ever hear the other side of.
Not that we can though.
No, I'm not
Well,
saying.
I mean, break out the
Henry
Ouija
Michael.
board. Let's go for it.
Well, I mean, you could.
But
It's
then
just,
it's going to be longer than 4 hours because I wouldn't.
well, it's not
say-
even that. It's I think well, we know, and I knew about this before I saw the movie. The people who could tell the other side of it are in some form of lawsuits suing HBO at this point.
Yeah.
There's one person suing HBO right now who isn't in the Michael Jackson camp, but he's pissed off because his name was referenced. And he's not in the movie, but they say his name. And he's mad about it. And I don't think there's a thing in the world he can do about it, but he's still trying to make a buck. He's suing.
And I mean, as harsh as this might sound to someone who's middle of the ground or in support of Michael Jackson, I've just from my personal experiences and things that I've gone through, I will always take the victim's side in situations like this. I don't care who you are.
I
Now,
am
I can't say what-
mutually with you.
Yeah, I can't say what I would do if I was in the parents or the kids' shoes because I would. It's Michael Jackson. It's a star. It's this guy who has millions upon millions, and he's offering me all this, and I don't know what I would do. I would only be able to hope that I could do the right thing.
Right. And when you talk about the victim thing, it's a whole other discussion that's different from the show, but we're in a bad spot as far as just bending and going 100% to victims nowadays in this particular time that we're in now, mainly because of one guy, the actor from Empire. He has made the world very challenging to be a victim now because he's a tool for people now to use, and that sucks. But you should watch this documentary. I mean, it's a piece of pop culture. It's a piece of pop culture history. It's an education.
Is there a good break? Is there an intermission?
It breaks on its
Part
own.
1 and Part 2.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
2-hour blocks.
Okay.
It literally says end of part 1, and you can just step away. You're done.
Because I mean, when the reviews are coming out for this, apparently they showed this in like one block, like to where there was an intermission essentially, and then they went back in for Part 2. I can't imagine.
I could do
doing
that.
That would
I get the
destroy
pain
me.
of it, but at a film festival, I would do that. I would have done that.
I mean, that's like carrying 400 pounds on your back.
Yeah.
Well, would you maybe put an intermission at least in the middle? Like, go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would do that. All right, so maybe by next week you guys will have seen it and we can hear your opinion on it. New on Blu-ray this week, if you want to get something, there's really, there's a few little things. Creed 2 is out. It's on Blu-ray. It's in 4K. There's also an exclusive Best Buy Steelbook if you really like the movie. The Favorite is out.
No 4K.
No 4K. Damn it. No 4K. Just a Blu-ray.
Maybe they're holding off. I don't know why though.
Yeah.
Now would be the time to strike.
It's
Now
true.
would be put
Right
that
after the Oscars.
Academy Award
Best actress.
thing at the top. All right, so also Instant Family is out. Vox Lux is out.
Pass.
I heard good things about Vox Lux though.
I heard very middling things.
Really? Well, but never mind. Sister Street Fighter Collection is out. I want this. I will have it. Do you know the Sister Street Fighter?
Franchise.
Well, for me, it was Tuesday.
Yeah. The Craft Collector's Edition is out. That is another movie of its era that some people just...
You hush up.
Look at your face. You love that movie. The smile on
He
your
does.
face
I
told me
do.
everything. It's not that bad. California is out. This is a reissue, though, I think. I think California's been on Blu-ray before. It's a really good movie.
Oh, by the way, I do love... Sorry, I missed this. I love why The Craft is rated R.
Why?
Because it has witches.
Yep.
Is that
There's
really
nothing
all
in
there
that
is?
film to
'cause
garner
I
Oh
can't
no,
remember.
there's no nudity. There's
language.
there's a
like-
slight almost rape scene, but that's as far as they go.
Wow. Yeah, because I didn't remember anything.
Yeah, because the EPA freaked out and they went full Christian and went,
Which
witchcraft.
is
Yeah.
all right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, Mad Dog and Glory, House of Cards season 6, Fear the Walking Dead season 4, and
That's still
Krypton
going?
season 1. What?
Yeah, it is.
What's still going?
Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead is getting better critical review than the
Walking
original
Dead,
show. And what's really funny is you've already had one character move from Walking Dead to Fear, and I think there's another one moving over to that one. I haven't watched the show. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
What's up with the comic books? The
For
fun-
Marvel this
funny
week,
books.
yeah, we've got Avengers number 16, Champions number 3, Conan the Barbarian, which has been a great run so far at issue 4, Star Wars number 62, and Uncanny X-Men number 13. In DC, we have Batman number 66, Doomsday Clock number 9 of 12, Green Arrow number 50, Green Lantern number 5, and Justice League number 19.
Nice.
And in other titles, we have Die, which is also a fantastic role-playing inspired story, number 4. Red Sonja, number 2. Ronin Island, number 1. $6 Million Man, number 1. New book there.
That's awesome.
And Witchblade, number 12.
Nice. So, did you see I bought a graphic novel? Did you see it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh, Death of Superman. Oh, this is a hardback.
Well, yeah, but take a look at this graphic novel.
Oh, this is nice. Hardcover.
Take a look at the last page.
Last page. Oh, it's got the movies.
It's got the 4K movies, both of them. Yeah.
That's a super nice set.
For $32, you can get the graphic novel and both movies in 4K.
I was about to say, why did you buy a graphic novel if you can't read it?
I can do it. It just takes a really long time.
I like the whole like newspaper stuff. The world reacts and all the stuff in the back. That's
Isn't some of that from the Funeral for a Friend?
Yeah, some of that was the car ad because it's basically supposed to be the newspaper. It's the Daily Planet edition of Superman's Dead. Here is the story that Lois wrote,
and here's all of our ads in it too.
It's got legitimate
Superman's
ads.
Dead, and for some reason Clark Kent didn't show up to work today.
Exactly.
I don't even remember how they handled it. I have to look back because I know there's something. I just don't remember how they dealt with Clark being dead.
They deal with it kind of in the movies, but it's glossed over.
Yeah.
Because the book is a much better detail. But if you don't own those two movies, which is Death of Superman and Reign of the Superman,
that's a good set.
If you don't have
but,
the graphic novel, this is the way to get it. It's like,
do you put that on your bookshelf or your Blu-ray
It's
shelf?
a good thing to have both in one place. Yeah, so it's a cool set. It was $32 at Best Buy.
That's a good deal.
Both movies plus the book is great.
I wish every comic book inspired Blu-ray came with the comic.
You would see so many graphic novels back here. It'd be great. So what should I be reading this week?
If you haven't already, I would go back and read 1 through 3 and then get 4 of Conan the Barbarian. It's written by Jason Aaron, who has been writing Thor for the last 5 years with Marvel. So that kind of particularly more visceral Norse mythology kind of work, not as much the superheroic side. He really turned me on to Thor doing his first work on Thor God of Thunder with the God Butcher, and it was this
God Butcher I love.
This Norse god epic story is what it was. That kind of feel carries over very well to Conan the Barbarian.
Okay.
And
I will say, him reading Conan on our in our little reading nook that we have, like he would just start laughing.
Oh, it's so
and I'd
good.
be like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, just in the comments." I'm like, "Oh, I'm trying to watch a show."
It's so fantastic. I loved it when after Marvel announced that they were getting the brand back of Conan the Barbarian to do the comics after Dark Horse had it for years. One of the things that Jason Aaron did is he posted a photo of a bookshelf in his office, and it's all of these Robert E. Howard Conan the Barbarian books in paperback.
Oh,
just
wow.
a shelf of them. It's like resume, bam. And I knew the moment that Marvel announced that they were getting it, I was like, you already have the writer to write this franchise.
Exactly.
It was him. On top of that, I would also highly recommend Die from Image.
Okay.
As I mentioned in the read-through, it's about... Think of Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon series. The whole, we get zapped
I love the cartoon series.
Yeah, we get zapped into this world, and we have to be these characters in the Dungeons and Dragons. Think of actually the idea of you as a kid getting sucked into the world and how horrible and ridiculous that would be that you're basically fighting this war. And then you get sucked back, and then you have to deal with loss and the fact that you've been gone for...
It's a lot of sucking happening.
You've been gone for like 2 years of your life fighting in this battle and everything. And then as adults, as highly dysfunctional adults, they have to be brought back into this world and deal with everything all over again.
Interesting.
Because one of their friends...
It's like the second half of it.
It is. It is actually very much like the second half of it. It's one of their friends got left behind, and he brings them all back because he missed playing with them again. So he's basically broken now. It's like, you guys have to come, let's play again. This is the fun world. They're like, this is horrible.
Where were you?
We survived trauma and war and death, and people died, and we killed people to survive. We didn't want to come back here. They're back here now. It's so good.
So, I shouldn't be excited about the bitch being back.
What did you say?
What?
You can say bitch. It's alright. You can say bitch.
Why are you talking about me like that?
Isn't Cyclops back this week?
Oh, Cyclops, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cyclops came back 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Alright, how's that been?
I'm behind on my Uncanny X-Men. But I hear it actually. The book actually picked up once he and Wolverine came back in it proper after the X-Men Disassembled arc happened.
I mean, their dynamic was always entertaining.
Well, basically, what happens in X-Men right now is most of the X-Men had been swept away in an alternate reality. It's the Age of X-Man, the Nate Gray world. So kind of like an analog to the Age of Apocalypse in the 90s.
Okay.
So some of the X-Men are in there, and Wolverine and Cyclops are basically back in the fold right after they vanished.
Yeah.
And they're going and trying to figure out, okay, what do we do now? The X-Men are missing. We have to put a new team together. We're going to... And Cyclops comes out and just makes a list of, here are all the things we have to address as the X-Men. He's very tactical thinking, very goal-oriented. It's Cyclops. It's very Cyclops.
Yeah.
And Wolverine's there. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll do whatever. I love the fact in the previews, essentially Wolverine snuck into the tunnels of the old Xavier Institute and found old costumes from the late 80s, early 90s for them to use because they don't have costumes right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's why the cover of this current X-Men book, Uncanny X-Men 13, is Cyclops in his classic Jim Lee early 90s animated series outfit.
Oh,
And
I like that one.
Wolverine is back in the tan and brown.
And I like that one.
I love that
I always preferred that one for him. All right, cool. Well, I feel like that's where I should probably go first this week. So are you caught up on The Flash?
No, God, no.
So this week, it's not spoilers, it's in the ads, but it was pretty funny to watch Gorilla Grodd and King Shark fight.
I heard that was happening, yeah.
I've always liked the Gorilla Grodd episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're fun, and this one was particularly kind of crazy.
Honestly, we haven't touched the Flash since the
last
whole,
season.
Yeah,
Since halfway through last season.
Well, I'll be honest with you, they brought in his daughter this season, and she's kind of an annoying person. I mean, the character's annoying, she's annoying, it's annoying.
We did find out that we're about to have a chance to catch up on Arrow finally.
Yeah, actually, just before the show,
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Amell himself announced that Arrow ends after next season. Season 8 is going to be the last season of Arrow.
That's probably a good thing, because
Yeah.
this season has not been that good. I'm just going to say, last season, they like sort of sent, kind of redirected everything, and things got way better.
Mm-hmm.
And this season, it's kind of not good. It's hit or miss. They've introduced characters in this second half that are just uninteresting. And you know how they made this huge deal about, we're going to step away from the flashbacks. We've done that for so many years. Not going to do that anymore.
Well, I mean, they caught up on the flashbacks, so
But they caught up on
flashbacks
them.
of the first season.
They did it on purpose so that they wouldn't have to use them anymore. Well, guess what? Now we've got flash forwards.
Yeah, they've been flash
So
forwarding.
the formula is the same. It's still the same, and
Does that mean that the last season we're going to get Flash sideways and it's going to be lost?
And somehow they end up back on the island.
It's kind of annoying though, because I always could count on my CW superhero shows to be pretty entertaining and fun, and Arrow hasn't been that good. Flash still has great characters that you love, so that makes it still
I heard
worth a view.
I heard Cisco's leaving the show.
I haven't heard he's leaving, but the father is
the
beard, but it's a medical.
Oh.
He's leaving for medical because he.
Don't tell me Joe's leaving.
Joe's
He's one
leaving.
of the best ones.
Well, he hurt his back on a trip or something, and he can barely stand right now. He's
I
going
can
through rehab.
understand.
But he
So-
can come back in the future.
Yeah.
That is what they said in the press release, is that
I think I remember
the
that.
door is always open for him to come back. They're not going to kill him off. And this season they've creatively written him out a lot of the episodes while he was in recovery. So they talk about him, he's still there, but he's not there. And then when you do see him, he's sitting.
Yeah.
So they're that. I know he's leaving. I haven't heard about Cisco, but I mean those shows are. I think maybe they run their course. Maybe it's time. But I don't know what they're going to do, because Supergirl is kind of trash now. Arrow is not that great, and Flash is not that great.
Is Birds of Prey being made into a movie or a series?
Movie. It's not going to be connected to this.
Yeah, I heard.
But
movie
Batwoman is starting as a show, and that might be what
It might be that they're making room for Batwoman.
that might be what
Maybe.
the plan to do is
Although,
start
I'll tell
phasing
you.
in the new shows.
Did you see you haven't seen?
I haven't seen
the
those
crossover?
worlds yet.
Yeah.
She's terrible, and I like her as an actress, but she's terrible. Maybe she should just continue to not speak. She's just
Yeah,
better.
from John Wick 2.
Yeah, just doing shooting birds and being a badass. Maybe that's just what she should continue to do because she's not was not
Maybe
good.
they should have casted her as Cassandra Cain.
Maybe so.
Maybe.
It would have been better. All right. Well, let's wrap this thing up. Nico, where do we find you on the internet?
You can find me on all finer social networks under Nico Scream, on Twitter, on Instagram, and if you're interested in more comics that came out this week, look at the full list at culturesmash.tv.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Oh, I'm sorry. You just looked at me.
Yeah, do I have to say, like, do I have to do the intro every time?
I can't get it up unless you say it.
And we're done.
You can find me on Instagram. I'm Master of the Matrix 91. You can find me on Steam. A Dangerous.
We made it to the end of the show, and that's where we... Tina.
How can I follow that? How? Okay.
Just don't.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram under Novinity Avalon, and you can find me on Twitter at Cheddarpopper. That is CHEDRPOPPR.
I don't know what's funnier. Nico's reaction.
Find me at All Things Culture
just trying not
Smash.
to think about it.
Culture Smash TV on Facebook. You can find us at Culture Smash on YouTube, Instagram, Culture Smash TV, and also Family Fear, our documentary, hit the physical media this weekend.
And quickly was selling out.
And quickly was selling out. Best Buy sold out, Amazon sold out over the weekend, just like that.
So what I'm hearing is dinner on you next week.
Well, yeah, we'll cook something. All right,
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.